Beyond the Threshold. Jesus elucidates through Jakob Lorber. Scene 7. A Pope is dying. August 11th, 1847. In this instance, we will begin at once with the beyond. We will observe a man who had been playing a very great role. In the end, having been of the opinion that the world existed only for his sake, and that he could do as he pleased. For he arrogated the formal stewardship of God, and that more than many others of his kind. Notwithstanding all this, he had to bite the dust, and neither his presumed great power, nor the world, or the stewardship of God protected him from it. There, look, walking slowly towards midnight, is an extremely gaunt man of very dark complexion, looking around searchingly and peering now here, now there. In his company you see a little man, like a pitch-dark monkey, who busies himself around our man and acts as if he had some very important business with him. Let us step closer, so that you may hear the strange monologue of this man, who is oblivious of both his company and us. We are already close to him. Now listen, he says. Everything is a lie, everything deceit, and the deceived is the most fortunate, but unfortunate the deceiver, if he is knowingly a deceiver. However, if he is unknowingly a deceiver, lying and deceiving without realizing it, he may be congratulated, for in that case, one donkey pulls another, and both are contented with the worst fodder. But I, what am I? I was a supreme head. All had to believe and do what I ordered. However, I did what I wanted, for I had the keys to power in my hands, like one who takes it without asking whether he is entitled to take it. I knew everything. I knew that everything is only a lie and deceit, but despite this fact, I imposed falsehood and deceit under threat of punishment on everyone refusing to accept them, and believing that everything issuing from me, written or not, had to be accepted as the full truth. On Earth, I thought, physical death is the end of all existence. This was my secret, firm belief, and all the wisdom of the world could not have given me a different one. This alone I held to be the truth. And you see, even this is a falsehood, for I continue to live, although I have died in body. Heaven, purgatory, and hell I had preached on many thousands of pulpits, issued letters of indulgence, and canonized a great many deceased, and ordered fasting, prayer, confession, and communion. And now I myself stand here, not knowing what is what. If there were a judgment, I would be judged already. If there were a heaven, I should have the first right to it. For in the first place, I had to become steward of Christ's church through the will of God. And what I then did as such was certainly also only a supreme will. For according to Scripture, no hair of the head will be bent, and no sparrow will fly from the roof. Thus I confessed and attended communion according to the old rules, although I could easily have exempted myself. For I had the power to abolish confession, including the strict communion for everyone, for all times, which, however, I could not and would not do for political reasons. Should there be a hell, I would have reason enough to be in it. For in God's eyes, every human being is a killer. At least I ought to be in purgatory, for this is said to be everybody's lot for at least 3 days. But neither the one nor the other is my lot. Therefore, God, Christ, Mary, Heaven, purgatory, and hell are nothing but falsehood and deceit. Man lives only from the forces of nature and thinks and feels only according to the concentration of his inherent natural forces, which probably combine into an eternally indestructible whole. Therefore, it will now be my task to investigate these forces more closely, and then, owing to my precise acquaintance with them, to found a heaven. However, I notice a continual certain tugging at my toga pontificalis. What could that be? Should there still be an invisible spirit in my vicinity? Or is it just the wind? In earnest, it is queer in this infinite desert, for no matter where one goes, one still remains forever completely alone. One may call, cry, rant, scold and curse, or pray to whomever one wants, and yet nothing stirs, and one remains all alone as before. It may well be several years since I died on the earth, and this in a very painful, utterly disagreeable manner, and I am just as alone, nothing beneath my feet but barren desert. I certainly have room to move, this again is a truth, but where I am, what shall become of me in the future? Shall I continue to live forever, or still be entirely annihilated? This is an unsolvable riddle. And so I shall investigate the natural forces inherent within me, and through their closer acquaintance it shall soon become evident what will become of me. Have you heard him? How he reasons? He, the steward of God on earth? Oh, he will continue for a long time to reason as such, alone, as his invisible companion inspires him. For the lot of such people, who held on earth the loftiest of positions, is always the same, namely, being alone, inasmuch as they have excessively isolated themselves on earth. However, this isolation turns out to be a great grace for them, for only thereby is it possible to then turn back onto the right path. But this will take a long time. They will have to go through all degrees of night and darkness within, of distress, of pain, as it is the case in hell. Once such a zealot has undergone this solo journey, perhaps in 500 to 1,000, maybe even 10,000 years, only then will he come into the company of strict spirits. Should he fail to follow them, he is again left alone and to his own devices. But then all the abominable deeds, carried out either under him or under his predecessors, will be brought home to him, on which occasion, however, he will have to taste all the pains which all those persecuted had to endure under him or his predecessors. If this treatment fails to cure him, he is left as he is. As companions, only hunger and thirst are given him, and these two stewards only rarely fail to bring someone back onto the proper path in time. Again, you have a picture here, from which you may learn more about the beyond, and the water such a leader has to swim through, until he reaches the shore of humility, truth, and love. Therefore, nothing more of this man.